Moodie-Mills, the host of Woke AF on Sirius XM. Dahlia, I want to ask you this first, because is this just playing with words, this impeachment investigation versus impeachment inquiry? Is there a difference?
For constitutional purposes, no. We don't know. The Constitution doesn't say impeachment starts with this action or that action. So for our purposes, we can sort of say that starting to think about doing an investigation into an inquiry feels kind of hedging.
Yeah.
But for constitutional purposes, Article 1 gives sole power of impeachment to the House.
Yeah.
So that's when it starts.
And do Democrats, by having an impeachment investigation, get the same stepped-up rules in terms of subpoenas, meaning that they have more power to make somebody show up when they are subpoenaed and turn over documents?
That's one of the reasons, Joy, that this is important, is that you put aside the parsing of language, and it really does bolster their authority, for instance, to drag Don McGahn in because he has refused to show up. It bolsters their authority to get access to this grand jury material that's redacted that they can't get any other way. So I think that once the House is acting in its judicial role as opposed to its oversight role, then the courts are going to be much more inclined to say, okay, if this is for purposes of an impeachment investigation, then we're going to be much more likely to grant the things
even the Supreme Court?
Well, that's a different question.
Let's talk about the politics of this, too. Let me play Jamie Raskin. He was on with Ari Melber last hour, asked whether this is an impeachment probe. Take a listen.
Is this an impeachment probe?
Sure. We were just confronted with overwhelming evidence of high crimes and misdemeanors, 10 episodes of obstruction of justice, a presidential candidate in his campaign welcoming with open arms foreign interference in our presidential election. You know, if Bill Clinton can be impeached for telling one lie about sex, that's low crimes and misdemeanors. This is in the category of high crimes and misdemeanors. And we're investigating it, and we're trying to figure out whether these are high crimes and misdemeanors that justify impeachment.
Daniel, does this end up working for the Democrats politically? They're getting out of town now for a multi-week recess. They put in something that they don't want to call an impeachment inquiry for whatever reason. Have they solved their problem?
They are their problem. So no, they haven't solved it at all. I think that the conversation around semantics actually matters to the American people. When we use terms like impeachment, it gives them a sense of gravitas to the situation that we are currently in. All of these investigations can be spun by Republicans to seem like it is just a vendetta that Democrats have against Donald Trump. When we move into an impeachment inquiry, that means that something very serious has happened and compromised our Constitution and compromised the office of the presidency. Americans understand that differently, right? And so words here actually matter, and this is what Republicans are always so good at, and Democrats constantly struggle. We are 100 days removed from the Mueller report dropping, and there's been no movement. Just a few, 90 days after Ken Starr dropped his report on Clinton, 99 days, yep. we were in full-blown investigation over, as Representative Raskin said, one lie. Yeah. Donald Trump has told, I don't know, 1,000 probably just today. Yeah. So where's the action here? So words matter and their action matters. And the fact that Nancy Pelosi also is not pointing to her members and saying, you know what, you're going home. Each and every member of the Democratic Party needs to be holding town hall meetings on impeachment the way that Justin Amash did, because that matters.
And, well, the possibility, though, is that they won't be able to avoid that, because so Democrats are going to go home, I think, for 6 weeks. There's a possibility that their town halls, as they want to have them on health care, are going to get taken over by people demanding impeachment, right? So I wonder does the strength of an impeachment, I'll ask you both, does the strength of an impeachment inquiry depend on it being immediate, meaning that you say you're launching an investigation and then something happens right away, or does the 5 or 6 weeks in the middle, interregnum, where they could be pummeled by their base, in a sense, could that actually help impeachment?
I think that showing them being pummeled by their base does help impeachment, because it shows that the people actually care and are paying attention, which is what I believe that most people do. The ones that I talk to on my show, they tell me that they care. They want to know why their members are not standing up for the Constitution. It looks like political theater, an act right now, instead of an act of outrage about what's happening in the White House.
Yeah, former